is yeah a sukkah, is not a sukkah. What's a stam machaselis? That was the discussion yesterday. The machlekes between Rav Eliezer and the Chachamim. Amr le Abaye. Let's pick it up over there. We're 12 lines down. Yeah. First one online is Abaye. Amr le Abaye. He achi Rav Eliezer. Amr achas gedana v'achas gedayla. Achas gedana v'achas gedana mi bayale. Rav Eliezer. It's a lashon game, which we pointed out is difficult to make a taste of the bigger chiddush first, bigger chiddush second. We pointed out that Taisis comes along and quotes from all over Shas, proving there are times that it does say it that way. But okay. Void, fractic gemara weiter. Keep ligi b'gedailu to bligi. Keep ligi b'gedailu to bligi. Rav Eliezer l'chumra. Why are you telling me it's the opposite? Why are you telling me that by b'gedailu they don't argue? In a brisa, we see by gedailu they do argue. Titania. Machatel is like konim b'gedailu misachim ba v'lazo imer minam v'kabel to misachim ba. So ask the Gemara, what's going on? Again, just to catch yourselves up. If you look at the bottom of your Testament Beis, in the very bottom, the Gemara said, Ella Amar Rava. That was the previous teretz. And the Ella Amar Rava was, B'gedayla Kuli Amalei Pligi. We just asked that we proved from Abraisa, B'gedayli, they do Pligi. So Ella Amar Rababa, so Rababa comes along with a Naya teretz. Again, the Ella being, wipe away the previous teretz and pull in a new teretz. Elam Rababa, B'getana, mamish the exact opposite. B'getana Kulam Loi Pligi. This time L'shchiva. Keep ligi is b'gedayla tanakam service time gila sikach. V'lazar service time gila nami l'shchiva. Umay asal l'shchiva dekamer achi kamer stam asiyasa nami l'shchiva adav l'sikach. Well, just to point out, that last line there is a pretty, pretty big doichik, as we like to call it. The Mishnah said asal l'shchiva, which means you made it for shchiva, and we're saying, what does it mean? It means stam, if it was, it's a shikl shver. The words were, you made it for shchiva. Yeah, whatever.
But it says also l'shchiva.
Yeah, exactly. It says it's all l'shchiva.
Say stam.
This is classical Gemara that lemais with all the much goes that. No, in Svara makes sense in the words. It says asal l'shchiva. I made it for shchiva. It says no, you don't really make it for shchiva. Stam happens to be for shchiva. Yeah, I was going to say, if they didn't put the sticker in the front, he could have been Azaz. Son-in-law, bring the Schwiger a gift for Yotiv. Print out your own sticker. Tanu Rabbanon, numbering inviter. Tanu Rabbanon, yeah. Machatzeles, shal shiva, shal gemi, different materials. Gedayla, mizachem. And again, let's remind ourselves, since we don't understand what these different materials are, the nekuda that we're trying to understand is at what point it becomes normal l'shchiva, becomes normal to lie down on. The point before it's normal to lie down on, then we assume that it was made for schach. So if it's shifa and gemi, a large one is schach, a small one we assume is a mattress. Shal kanim v'shal chilas kedalim zachaba. Aruga im zachaba. Rav Shmuel Rav Yesi Aimer Mishmav v'achazu v'achazu v'sachaba v'chen Rav Desi Aimer kidvarif. And again, l'chayra, if we lived bisman haGemara, this would be very pashut. It's almost probably like saying, this mattress. Yeah, this mattress and this, they make those. I don't know if they still make them. Those bead things people put on their car seats. Remember those? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's almost like. Those guys, that's like clearly for a seat, but that is a large one. Oh no, that's not for a chair. That's used as a floor mat. Like something like that. Tanan Hasam, we learned in the Mishnah, Kol ha'chaitzlois mitamim tememes. All chaitzlois are mitame tememes Rav Deisa. Now, let's remind ourselves, Tumas Meis is a first cousin to our discussion, because we know that all of something to be tameh has to be a keli. So if it's a keli similar to that which would invalidate for schach, would create tuma. Devi Rav Deisa. No, midras. It's mitame tumas midras. Now midras is a type of tuma for sitting on things, for lying down on things. It's a special type of tuma. So the fact that the Chachamim said it's mitame tumas midras, what does that sound like? Midras in Tmei Meis Loi. What's the problem? Tmei Meis is a higher level. Okay. I know Tumah V'Tayr, but the very, very basic, we'll have to know that the mace, the dead body, is the highest level of Tumah. So the Gemara now asks, and we're going to prove from a Mishnah, you're going to tell me that's a lower level of Tumah, but not a higher level of Tumah? It's very not such a normal thing to say. Ask the Gemara of Anan Tanam. We learned in a Mishnah, Kola mitame midras, mitame tamei meis. That if there's tumas midras, there's certainly tamei meis. Says the Gemara, you're right. Ema, you know what the Chachamim meant? Af midras. The Chachamim meant not only is there tamei meis, there's even tamei midras. But now there's a problem. We're talking about an item called chaitzlis, and we have no clue what this item is. So says the Gemara, and always in Gemara's sense, if you knew the next step, then the first step would be easier. So says the Gemara, my chaitzlis, what is this item? Amar Rav Avdimi bar Hamduri, it's Mar Zovli. The Helig Mar Zovli. Shkoyach, Mar Zovli. Amar Rav Abba is Mizavli. What's Mizavli? So this one, Rashi comes along, and Rashi, 3 lines from the bottom, tells us that a Mizavli is a bulos. Thank you, Rashi. What's that? It's made for a shepherd. It's a pillow. It's a leather bag that doubles up as a pillow. The canteen, very good. That doubles up as a pillow. Says the Gemara. That's what Rav Abba says. Reish Lakish Amar machatzeles mamish. You know what chaitzles are? Choose a word that's similar to it. It's a machzeles, which is a mat. Givaldik. Now, this is obviously why this whole shtickle came in. V'azda Reish Lakish l'taimei. So just before we continue, we just said that chaitzles, according to Reish Lakish, is a mat. And what do we just say? We just said it's mekabel tuma. Says the Gemara, Reish Lakish is l'taimei. Why? Damer Reish Lakish. Harini kapara as Rav Chia banav. I should be a kapara for Rav Chia and his children. And again, this is almost a poetic introduction to Reish Lakish talking. He says, I should be a kapara for Rav Chia banav. Why? Shebetzchila originally kishen tachal Torah Yisrael, when Torah was being forgotten, Allah Ezra mi Bavel v'yasta. Ezra came and he brought back the Torah. Chazav and Ishtachah by the Bayis Rishain Allah Hilla Bavli v'yasta. Chazav and Ishtachah was being forgotten again. Allah Rav Chia banav v'yastua. So says Reish Lakish, I could be a kapara. My Torah should be a kapara for Rav Chia banav. Chena Rav Chia banav. Here is why we brought down this whole shtickle. Al machatzeles shel usha. They don't argue about an ushin mat. Shein tameos. That they don't argue about. Everyone agrees that they're tamei because the mats in usha were mamish geshmarka mattresses. You lie on them. Well, what's the famous mattress company? Sleepies? No, I got it wrong. What's your sleep number? Used to be Sleepies, no? Sealies. Okay. What was the one, on the radio back when we were kids? What's it called? Sleepies, right? They don't have these things in Europe. In Europe, it's a bed. You sleep on it and move on. Yeah, us Americans.
On a bed, like small.
We were happier.
Yeah, you're 100%. I'm with you.
And no air conditioning.
Avada.
There's no excuse for that.
My kids. I don't think I should.
They don't allow legally. You can't.
Of course, it doesn't look nice.
It doesn't look nice.
Of course not.
There was a handful of Jews who had air conditioning in the house. My parents were one of them, by the way, because they were able to in the back in the porch, which also is a handful of people who had a porch for sukkahs. That
porch. You go down to the chutzner.
The owner of my parents' place before us was a Jew who did it without the thing, whatever.
You go down to the chutzner.
But I'm saying most people eat in a communal sukkah in.
And guess what? And everyone was
anyway. So they had
happy people,
but most people didn't have. And if you did it illegally, like you did it in the roof or something, and the guy the parrots, the parrots. And guess what? And you're a happy kid. Yeah, what do you need? What do you need AC for? What do you need AC for? That's a different story. My kids, they have a scooter.
I
had nothing.
Baruch Hashem.
Bikes we rented every Sunday.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So Israeli kids, it's all the same thing. You should know. I know we're on camera. Israeli kids, there's no air conditioning.
But they had air conditioning. Israel?
The classical, where I lived in Machal, the classical Israeli apartment does not have, they have air conditioning in the main room, and it's never on. And there's a fan azoi that moves to here in the.
My mother-in-law has 2 split units in her apartment.
That's it. Yeah. And in the dead of the summer, when it's 4,000 degrees, he set it on the chveis, the 26. 26. What does that do? It just makes you that the meat, doesn't spoil. Weiter. Vishal Tveria. Let's go middle of a Gemara. I'm sorry for interrupting ourselves. So those are the Ushin mats. The Ushin mats, again, those Gishmaka mattresses. Vishal Tveria. Shein Tahayrois. Those were tired. It's very mad. It's all geferlich. Those are mamish European mats. Yeah, mamish, no American would touch them. Aman echleku givaldik. So what's the machlekes? Again, we're in the middle of talking there of Chiyu Banavar explaining to us what's the machlekes of Dais L'Chachamim. Aman echlu al shar mikoymois. Mar savar of Dais old kim the lekadiyas valayu. Since no one lies on them, kidded to vary damyon. Therefore, they are tar. Umar savar and the Chachamim held kim the mikri. There are times the yasvi alayu. You rough it. Kedusha damyon, and therefore the mekabel Thomas Midris. That's where the chaitzals are. Stop over here. Tomorrow night, B'siyat Shemaya Siyam. Not really a Siyam. Chavra over Pesach. Bees to Yud Bees. Bees to Yud Bees. I think 2 times a person. I think 2 times a person. B'siyat Shemaya. Tamid after Pesach. Tamid after Pesach.